The attitude being displayed by my brothers from the Niger Delta to Igbos will never cease to amaze me. The likes of Asari Dokubo, has failed to understand the politics behind the name Niger Delta, but rather have chosen to sabotage every effort put in place by IPOB. You should note that gallant and courageous men like Ken Saruwiwa and Adakaburu were all treated like mere criminals by their masters. You should bear in mind that the Asari Dokubo will never escape the caliphate. He should be of the knowledge that a clamor for Niger Delta Republic is not less a crime acknowledging the fact that no one is a Niger Deltan. For avoidance of doubt, there is nothing like Niger Delta on the map of the world. The name was created to weaken the quest for restoration of Biafra and to create divide and rule syndrome among us. No wonder the African king of literature, Chinua Achebe, said in Things Fall Apart that they have put a knife on the things that bound us together. Now the center could no, not hold and things are falling apart. For decades, caliphates in the north have been deceiving us with Niger Delta, South-South and South-East syndrome unknown to us that we are Biafrans. The insanity of Asari Dokubo and his fellow conspirators clamoring for Niger Delta Republic is mind-boggling. These dudes depend on nothing but allocation, selling of land and pipeline security guards. The gravity of laziness running in their system is what has kept them in bondage for decades because they ignorantly believe that Igbo man is their problem. Out of greed, envy and jealousy, they bluntly believed that Igbo man is fighting for Biafra in bid to take their resources. While they are busy fighting their brothers who has been their shade for decades, their real enemies are busy taking their oil and injecting abject poverty into their land. They ignorantly believed that they are Niger Delta or South-South without knowing the name was a political formation to make them dry. The utterances from these pipeline security guards from the oil-rich regions known as Niger Delta against the Igbos is disheartening. Niger Delta or South-South is not an indigenous name, but a political formation riddled in identity crisis. To start with, can these brothers of mine who claim to be Niger Delta proudly explain the meaning? Can they please educate or convince me that Niger Delta or South-South is their indigenous name before the arrival of the colonial masters? Those of you claiming to be Niger Delta should note that the name is a concocted name. In other words, calling yourself a Niger Delta or South-South means you are simply a pet. The era of divide and rule neocolonialism by British experiments on Biafrans is over. Those of you claiming Niger Delta or South-South should note that there is nothing close to South-South in geography. The era to liberate and get rid of this Niger Delta and South-South is now. Our people from the coastal region must do researches about their identities before the creation of Niger Delta and South-South. We are whom we are. That is Biafra. Our history can never be erased by any mortal, no matter how hard they try. We have come to reclaim our identity. Wow, this is an eye-opener. I think, we have a mixture of history. We really have mixture of history, and that's why everybody must really do research. You don't just take anything you are being told. You just have to take deeper look on every issue, because there was a guy that came calling himself Obaseki, talking about how the Biafra name came to be, and because we have a disjointed history, and that's why nobody knows what to follow, and a lot of people are not even ready to learn. By the time some people hear this one now, oh, forget it, let this person go and sit down, because this article is from Izwe Jogu. Let him go and sit down. Let him go. Like I always say, if really you want to learn, you have to be attentive to a lot of things. Then you'll be able to pick and choose. That you don't just hear something and just discard it. That thing could be true, though of course it might not be true. But there are some things that you might want to take out from such things. But this idea of just discarding something, who is speaking? Who is this person that is talking? Please, who is he? Who knows him? Who knows her? some people just believe that, oh, there are some people that can say something that you believe, but unknown to them that those who they hold at high esteem, they might even be telling them wrong things. So that is why, as individual, you need to do research and look at things thoroughly. And if you really want to check this assertion, Niger Delta, South South, look for the meaning. Biafra, look for the meaning before we start fighting ourselves and what have you. I think that's just what I can really say concerning this, what this writer has said. And someone says, why Niger Delta every time? Now by force, leave them alone. Abi na the oil. Now force, they are big enough. Oh. Niger Delta can be on their own. Stop writing about them. Fight for your own. Leave them. They are big enough to rule themselves. Just wait patiently. Niger Delta will join Biafra 1 trillion years. Note that you don't have option than to wait, because it's becoming more clearer that the Igbos can't make a country except with South-South, meaning you must wait for 1 trillion years, after which conditions will come. I pity people talking about having a country when you have nothing, absolutely nothing. That's what somebody says here. Another person says here that must they go with Niger Delta? Be bold, go alone, stand alone if you can. You're not even in Niger Delta. I am born and brought up as a Niger Deltan. So stop that rubbish of yours. Can you tell me what you have that Igbos do not have? I mean, just one. The point here is not whether we go with Igbo or not. But first, let us come out of this bondage called Nigeria, because if we divide ourselves, we will remain slaves forever. Ever. Gosh, where's your wisdom? Okay, gosh, where's your wisdom? You claim you own oil, but only doing pipeline security. This is foolishness. Continue to be guards to northern oil block owners in your soil. Hey, one day your native compound will be sold by your brother if he has not done that already. Someone says why did you want to go with the people you call foolish? I think you are having sleepless nights about them, and it's clear to me that you can't do without them, as you claim to say they are nobody. And someone said, I'm from Cross River, a die-hard supporter of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the supreme leader of IPOB, a freedom fighter, guru of our generation. Also, I'm staunch lover and believer of Biafra restoration, because freedom is supreme and not to remain in this zoological contraception called Nigeria. Okay, contraption called Nigeria. I totally support the writers stand that the name Niger Delta or South-South is a concocted name given to us by the parasite paymasters from the Sahel that migrated into the country through the porous border of the north to continue their dominance in our God-given resources. I therefore stand with the total restoration of Biafra as our last hope to freedom. All hail Biafra, and God bless Prince Mazi Nnamdi Kanu for re-enlightening our spirit and hope for Biafra restoration. Someone say, nice write-up. All eastern regions, it is time to unite, as northerners did not mean well with the entire easterners, especially as it concerns the natural resources in terms of oil all over the east coast or land. Please let us think twice, because northerners are full of perverse hearts. They had fought brutally to rip the entire East during the Civil War. Thank God we had a brave son like the late Ojukwu. Let us separate without Niger Delta region. Niger Delta is a name, it's political discrimination. All we are one brother and sister, but one Biafra. Someone says Asari and his cohorts are on the payroll of Fulani Caliphate. Don't forget, he's a Muslim. He's a Muslim man. He knows the truth, but one day he shall be put to shame. And someone says, our identity is Niger Delta. Do not try to force people to join your struggle or agitation for a nation. Allow people to be where they want. Before Biafra, there was Niger Delta. Please, let's leave Niger Deltas alone. They are not our brothers. Only Igbo Deltas are my brothers. Exist in South. My regards. Someone said, I don't like commenting matters like this, but I must say, both the writer and commenters here seem not to have an idea, cause even core Igbo states are in the Niger Delta, etc. Preach peace and losing the power at the center. Finish. Who are the Niger Deltans? Abia, Imo, Rivers, Delta, Akwa Ibom. They are all Igbo population oil too. Those making noise are lazy people, as you rightly observed. They are happy with the crumbs from the Fulani, their master table. Pipeline security, while all the decisions are taken by the Fulanis, while you protect it for them. Good luck to them. I think we should stop mentioning that name, Niger Delta and South, whenever we talk about unity of Biafra. People do not use to wake up at the same time. If Igbos believe they have woken up, they should go to the farm and let those that are still sleeping enjoy their sleep. If they Igbos continue to wait for he who is still enjoying his sleep to wake up before they go to their farm, hunger will kill the man that is sleeping as well as the man that is awake but refuse to go to the farm. By the time you that is awake start to make noise in the farm, he that is sleeping will have no option than to wake up, maybe at noon or at night. That time he will have no one to blame but himself. I will advise the Igbos to talk to the individual nations that make up the so-called South individual as to join forces with the ones that shares in their ideology. If you are fighting alongside with anyone who does not share in the same ideology with you, I can tell you such a person is more of an enemy than the enemy you are fighting against. In fact, this is really, really detailed. Just like I have said, if it is only two states or two whatever people that really believe in the Biafra, good and fine. Let them go. What I know is that when everything is okay, people who have not been interested, just like this person is saying, just trying to use this as an analogy, using farming and what have you. If you know that you are fighting for food, you want to get your food, you can't be waiting for somebody who is still sleeping. You go ahead and go and get the food, because if you are waiting for somebody who is not ready, who is still sleeping, at the end of the day, the whole thing, the whole hunger will come upon everybody. Is a very, very good analogy that this particular person has said. So it is not by force, of course, but people just have to look at things holistically and see whether there is meaning in what people are saying. But people just believe that, oh, if somebody says anything, if you don't like the person's face, oh, that's it, I don't want to hear anything, even if the thing is the true thing, but and the right thing, they wouldn't want to do that. So, and I'm sure, I don't think the Igbos, but just that some people who just want to enlighten others. I don't think even the formation of Biafra, they really forcing anybody to join them or what have you. So it's by choice. But those who have been whose eyes have been open to some things, they should look thoroughly and look deeply. Don't just wave things off. That is just my own philosophy. Someone said, true talk, true talk, true talk. So someone says, that is the son of the Lion of Judah. We Igbos don't care. After all, oil is not a valuable asset anymore, and in few years to come, many countries will not make use of it. So guys, let us hear your opinion concerning this. It's very, very detailed for those who are open-minded and really objective. Leave your comments below and let's